Press release budget vote speech, Department of Police and IPIDDelivered by Minister of Police Hon. General Bheki Cele, MP, the 15th of May 2018. Honourable Chairperson, Honourable Ministers present, Honourable Deputy Ministers, Chairperson and Members of the Portfolio Committee on Police, Honourable MECs present, Members of Parliament, Heads of Entities within the Ministry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thuma Mina greetings to all the Honourable Members of this House and fellow South Africans. The year 2018 demands a dedicated and more meaningful emphasis to what informs our fundamental existence as the police service towards the successful delivery of our constitutional mandate as stipulated in Section 205 of the Constitution, which reads, I quote, Section 205(3) of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa directs that the South African Police Service must prevent, combat and investigate crime, maintain public order, protect and secure the inhabitants of the Republic and their property, and to uphold and enforce the law. Unquote. Chairperson, in line with the mandate of our government, it is imperative to dedicate this budget vote speech to honor all women and children who have been the victims of gender-based violence. The theme, safety of women, children and vulnerable groups, is the brighter future of South Africa. This inhuman scourge is fiercely eating the moral fiber in our society and is belittling the dignity of Nzalabantu Yazwe Kanye Nabantwana Bethu. The time to say never again is now. Mr. President, the police are taking the Thuma Mina call to the streets of South Africa to bring down the scourge of crimes against women and children and vulnerable group of our society. Song Sithi Nageki, Sobi, Bind. We say this as a befitting commemoration to the centenary celebration of former President Nelson Mandela and Mama Albertina Sisulu. Former President Nelson Mandela once said in his book Long Walk to Freedom, I quote, as a tribute to the legions of women who navigated the path of fighting for justice before us, we ought to imprint in the supreme law of the land, firm principles upholding the rights of women. The women themselves and the whole of society must make this a prime responsibility. Domestic violence, rape, abuse of women remain disgraceful blots on the reputation of a country that is called a miracle nation. I've never regarded women as in any way less competent than men. Unquote. Chairperson, we reaffirm our commitment to a vision of a society where women and children will be able to enjoy all their liberties as enshrined in our Constitution, wherein they will be able to walk freely without any fear of being confronted with the possibilities of being murdered, raped, and assaulted. Chairperson, we have invited some of the family members of the victims of crimes against women and children and vulnerable groups. Can I ask all of them to stand and be acknowledged? We are calling for a partnership with all the sectors of our society to fight the scourge of violence against women and children. We also have invited the ambassadors of the Department of Police who are serving as a force multiplier in spreading the message against this scourge. Priorities of the police. Any type of crime is a priority of the South African Police Service. However, this year we will prioritize and intensify the fight against crimes against women and children and vulnerable groups. This implies that crimes against women and children and vulnerable groups such as the elderly, people with disabilities, people with the albinism condition and lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and intersex LGBTI people will be treated as priority crimes. The scourge of violence against these groups cannot and will not be tolerated, and civil society and communities must stand as one together with the police to root out these crimes. In addition, I have directed that the police address incidents of drug and substance abuse as a driver of crimes against women and children and vulnerable groups. Cybercrime affects every single person in South Africa, irrespective of their economic or social status. More will be done to improve the prevention of cybercrime, but specifically the police's ability to investigate these crimes once reported. The recent spike in banking on cash and transit-related crimes is a cause for concern. This category of crime, like many other, impacts directly on the economy of country, and the perpetrators will not be allowed to act at will, plundering cash resources which fuel the economy. The recent increase in violent public protest places the lives of citizens in danger and threatens the stability of communities. The police are frequently required to react to violent public protest as a result of factors beyond their control. This, no doubt, requires a greater commitment to service delivery, but also requires the police to act with professional constraint. The illicit economy is draining valuable resources away from the state and its citizens. The combating of crimes in this space will be prioritized during 2018-2019, including illicit mining and the various methods of grand-scale tax evasion, such as the trade in illegal cigarettes. The Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit, given the identification of 2018-2019 as being the year of women, children and vulnerable groups as victims of crime, the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences (FCS) investigation service becomes extraordinarily important. There are currently 183 FCS units, which creates a specialist investigative environment to deal with gender-based violent crimes including sexual offenses, with a focus on serial rape-related cases, child pornography and crimes facilitated by electronic media. Furthermore, the police has established 1,047 dedicated victim-friendly facilities at police stations countrywide to accommodate and assist victims. The positive impact that the establishment of these dedicated units have is evident in the recent conviction of Mr. Mansway, who killed Parapo Makwena. The accused was sentenced to 32 years imprisonment by the South Gauteng High Court. During the financial year 2017-18, 692 life sentences were meted, 30,521 number of years were handed, and 3,234 of dockets were registered. All these cases relate to the violent crimes committed against women and children in our republic. We therefore make a clarion call to the criminal justice system to deal decisively against the perpetrators of gender-based crimes irrespective of their social, political and economic status. Drugs and substance abuse chairperson. The primary victims of drugs and substance abuse are invariably those who are most vulnerable in our society, including women, children and the elderly. During 2018-2019, the police will focus on 3 levels of the drug value chain, which are international and domestic organized crime drug syndicates, addressing high flyers, drug manufacturers, domestic drug laboratories, drug cultivation of cannabis and targeting hydroponic DAG laboratories. Increased illicit drug use and alcohol consumption are some of the main contributors to the perpetration of violent crime. The numerous and significant illicit drug seizures by authorities at international airports and at ports of entry point to South Africa being considered a lucrative market for international drug syndicates. Chairperson, allow me to thank my predecessor, the former Minister of Police, Mr. Bheki Cele, for stabilizing crime at the OR Tambo International Airport. We will continue with the strengthening of the multidisciplinary approach in responding to any threat of the safety of our economy and its inhabitants. We will be intensifying our campaigns by working together with our sister departments and relevant stakeholders in fight against drug and substance abuse. In this regard, we call upon the liquor licensing boards, municipalities, and community members to work very close with the police in ensuring that the laws governing the issuing of liquor licenses are adhered to. We further urge all liquor outlets, operators to adhere to the strict rules of alcohol sale to the public, especially where the proximity of such outlets is not adhering to the requirements as prescribed. Schools, and places of worships, trio crimes, house robberies, business robberies and carjackings, robberies with aggravating circumstances and taxi violence. The increase in the incidence of trio crimes, which comprise carjacking, house robbery and business robbery, has prompted the police to adopt an aggressive approach towards the prevention, combating and investigation of these crimes. A national trio crimes task team was officially established to ensure an integrated and coordinated approach to these crimes. The task team developed the National Trio Crimes Action Plan to address trio crimes and aggravated robberies in the top 20 trio crime clusters with effect from the 1st of April 2017. As part of the implementation of this action plan, the police is working closely with partners in the security, banking and transport industries. In addition, the top 20 clusters in the country have been allocated additional resources, including response vehicles and additional funding for overtime. All 9 provinces have established investigation teams that focus primarily on the investigation of trio crimes. The National Prosecuting Authority has also committed dedicated prosecutors to guide police investigations and prosecute identified suspects. During the 2017-2018 financial year, the police, in conjunction with the NPA, achieved 360 guilty verdicts for carjacking, 1,064 for house robberies and 635 for business robberies. In addition, in a total of 42 cases, 46 life sentences were handed down to the convicted individuals. The trio crime combating interventions which have been put in place to intensify the prevention and investigation of house robberies, business robberies and hijackings, as well as to trace and apprehend the perpetrators of these crimes, will be enhanced. The teams in Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, which have the highest contributing stations in terms of reported incidents of trio crimes, will work tirelessly. The teams include members from Crime Intelligence, Visible Policing, Tactical Response Team, Public Order Policing 94, Detective Service and the Organized Crime Unit, which will be further capacitated. Nonetheless, minimum success has been achieved during June to August 2017. The teams apprehended 307 suspects and confiscated 43 firearms, 209 rounds of ammunition and recovered 88 stolen or hijacked vehicles. Taxi Violence Chairperson, we are in a process of overhauling crime intelligence. Regular threat assessments relating to public transport industry will be conducted, thereby enabling the police to proactively act on information relating to any early warning in the taxi industry. There is a need to enhance cooperation with the Department of Transport to ensure the proper regulation of the industry. Violent public protests, public order policing, the increase in the number of public demonstrations, which attracted media attention globally, as well as the findings of the Farlam Commission, necessitated urgent intervention and a holistic approach to address the challenges experienced with public order policing (POP) in the country. For the period, the 1st of April 2017 to the 31st of December 2017, a total number of 10,711 crowd-related incidents were responded to and successfully stabilized, including 8,133 peaceful crowd-related incidents and 2,578 unrest-related incidents. Chairperson, we call upon our sister departments to ensure that these service delivery protests are avoided through other means rather than those which end up being crime. These also put a strain in both our human and physical resources, which are redirected to address crime caused by service delivery. The police intends to increase the number of POP units with additional 5, and there are also 4 units will be reserve units, specifically to reinforce other units. The POP personnel strength will be increased to respond effectively and efficiently to public protests in the country. In addition, this year 3,825 members are currently undergoing basic training will also be trained in crowd management. Organized crime chairperson, the evolving nature of organized crime and the rapidly changing nature of information and communication technology, which organized crime syndicates use to advance their criminal activities, negatively impact on the overall stability and economy of the country, general perceptions of safety and security, and the ability of the police to prevent, combat and investigate these types of serious crimes. It therefore became imperative for the police to establish an effective approach for the identification and analysis of organized crime threats impacting on the country and its citizens. Crime prevention, policing is without doubt a labor-intensive exercise, but more must be done to improve police visibility as one of the primary deterrents of the perpetration of crime. Police visibility comprises a number of dimensions, including police officers, marked police vehicles and police contact points, such as police stations and mobile contact points. I have also directed that the police to reactivate and enhance the blue light campaign, especially during the peak hours, afternoons and the evenings. Tactical response teams and tracking teams chairperson, we will be capacitating, revitalizing and enhancing the capabilities of the police's tactical response teams (TRT), as well the tracking teams through resources and skills development. We will be training 154 TRT members, of 34 will be deployed in Enkobo and 120 to be deployed around Khayelitsha, Nyanga and Mitchell's Plain. Chairperson, this morning we launched the Operation Thunder, consisting of members from specialized units from other provinces, to deal with crime in the Western Cape. We will be here over 3 months painting the Western Cape blue. Within the next few weeks, the TRT and tracking teams will be deployed in medium to high-risk tactical intelligence operations dedicated to fight cash in transit heist, armed robberies, murders, taxi violence and political killings. Chairperson, we want to reassure the people of South Africa that we are in a process of responding to the ongoing alleged political killings. The President, His Excellency the Honourable Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, has put together a team of ministers to deal with the attacks in KwaZulu-Natal. In the next few days we will be announcing intervention measures addressed to the killings. These deployments are not only limited to the areas mentioned, but we will be deploying and fighting crime from KwaMashu in KZ and Seshego in Limpopo too, from Umtata in the Eastern Cape to Mafeking in the Northwest, Cape Flats in Cape Town to Eldorado Park in Gauteng. In Gauteng, we are now ready to respond to the cash heist that has nerve-wracking in the province. Chairperson, now is the time to reclaim our space and squeeze all criminal spaces where they exist, without hesitations, fear or favor. Police staff complement. The police will maintain a staff complement of 98% during the 2018-2019 financial year. Specific emphasis will be placed on the appropriate capacitation of the Detective Service, FCS, organized crime, commercial crime and cybercrime, visible policing, POPs, TRT, tracking teams, etc., and crime intelligence gathering and analysis. Police station capacity will be a focus point, and to this extent, 60% of entry-level recruitment posts will be allocated to stations. Currently, the allocated staff establishment at police stations is 120,475. This allocation will not be affected by the reduction in the compensation budget of the police. The annual enlistment, which is mainly a replacement of annual losses due to natural attrition, will also be undertaken during 2018-2019. In order to increase the current staff establishment at station level, the police will focus on filling the 1041 vacant posts at police stations, which were created by the re-establishment of specialized units. In addition, all identified national units operating at local level will be decentralized to be commanded by station or cluster commanders. Approximately 6,000 members will be de-escalated to that level, i.e. Railway police, identified ports of entry, crime intelligence. The planned allocated staff establishment at police stations, for 2018-2019, is 61.98%, and priority will be given to the 30 identified crime-weight police stations whereby Major Generals will be deployed as station commanders. The rationalization is aimed at enhancing command and control, ensuring that there is immediate decision-making at local level. The Department of Police will do more to attract and retain scarce skills such as artisans, pilots and auditors, as we have done with the 1041 scientists. If need be, we will tap into services those who have been previously in the organization and excelled. In our midst, Chairperson, allow me to introduce to you our female cadets who will be qualified pilots in this financial year. We will be implementing the retention policy aimed at addressing losing scarce skilled personnel. The enhancement of the police's crime detection capability. Chairperson, in due course we will be announcing the appointment of the new DPCI head. This appointment will ensure that there will be stability within the directorate and focus in the fight against priority crimes in our country. Enhancing capacity within both the detectives and the DPCI will ensure that the long unresolved cases are dealt with and finalized. Firearm amnesty. This year, the Cabinet has approved firearm amnesty due to the high number of illegally possessed firearms, which are in circulation in South Africa, and the fact that firearms are a major contributor to crime. The objectives of the 2018 firearm amnesty is to reduce the number of illegal firearms, provide firearm owners with the opportunity to hand in unwanted firearms, prevent crime and violence and promote safety, address the fundamental causes of crime, in order to effectively protect our communities, ensure people living in South Africa feel safe and have no fear of crime. Chairperson, in due course we will be making an announcement about how the process will unfold. We urge communities to voluntarily surrender their legal and illegal firearms and will provide amnesty for possession of illegal firearms. We making call for action to the community to make use of this opportunity, since we are going to have no mercy when we deal with any unlawful possession of firearms. Police safety. Chairperson, the safety of the policemen and women is a priority for government. The manner in which our police officers are attacked and killed undermines the integrity of the state, safety and security of our citizenry. The prevention and combating of crime in our country requires inter alia partnership between the police, communities and all stakeholders. At the cornerstone of this partnership, it will be prudent to have police officers who are highly motivated, competent and dedicated to their tasks to fight crime. Police have implemented a number of measures to combat this scourge. A police safety committee has been established that inclusive of the Civilian Secretariat for Police. An integrated approach to addressing police safety through community awareness. September is declared by Police as Police Safety Month. We will continue to create awareness about personal and operational safety and security of our police and our police stations. We will be launching the Safer City program in all provinces. Also, we will be enhancing implementation of the rural safety programs, professionalizing the police. Chairperson, the department will continue to render professional services in line with the Batho Pele to all citizens of South Africa. Joining the SAPs should be seen and promoted as a career of choice. This year, in commemorating the Public Service Week in June, we will be launching the anti-corruption strategy. Furthermore, priority will be on institutionalizing and internalizing the South African Police Code of Conduct, ethical and integrity leadership, as well as continuing with the lifestyle audits. I have directed all entities reporting to the Ministry of Police to be exemplary in discharging of their constitutional obligations. Chairperson, I am resolute towards ensuring that consequence management will be applicable to hold accountable all members without fear and favour for non-performance. IPID Chairperson, IPID has achieved significant success in the fight against corruption. It will intensify the fight against corruption, fraud and maladministration conducted by the members of the service. The IPID encounters many challenges which includes amongst inadequate funding and resources. I have directed IPID and the SAP's management to work very close in the execution of their mandates. This will allow the smooth functioning of both sectors, thus allowing effective cooperation. The IPID has been directed to root out any form of transgression within the service irrespective of the position of the alleged transgressor. We hope in so doing that public confidence and morale will be restored, thus enhancing social partnership between the service and the communities. I want IPID to develop a mechanism to contribute towards corrective measures, and a quick resolution of cases. Wellness of police employees. Chairperson, specific focus will be placed on the improvement of the wellness of our employees through the institutionalization of the department's newly approved employee fitness, health and wellness policies. I am sure you will recall, chest out, stomach in. This will not change much, but I am looking for now is simple, chest out, stomach in and do the right thing. The policy's fitness program will be revitalized during 2018-2019 to ensure that all members are operationally ready to serve in police communities. The police will review its career progression measures and will implement appropriate action to address the current backlog in the upward progression of the lower-level Police Act personnel to a higher grade, salary level, within a defined career path, with the employee acquiring and demonstrating the required competencies and skills to perform the job. Promotion and grade progression. There is currently a backlog in the grade progression of employees between levels 5 and 7. About 69,219 members within these grades are long overdue for progression considerations. Chairperson, allow me to outline enlistments, grade progression and promotions as follows. In addition, 914 members from the specialized units, namely, the Special Task Force, TRT and the Intervention Unit, including the commencement level of the Public Service Act personnel, will be regraded during this financial year. We calling the management to follow due process during the promotions and ensure deserving members must be promoted. Chairperson, we hope that this initiative will boost the morale of our police officers to enable them to execute their task optimally. Going forward, we will be working on the betterment of the members' conditions of employment. Police vehicles. The police intend maintaining the existing vehicle fleet and marginally increasing the fleet to 42,000 vehicles, the majority of which are marked vehicles. An amount of 4.1 billion rand has been earmarked for this purpose. I have directed that the police are to ensure that at least